following along on the YouTube channel, Art Wandering Studios. If you are one of my students, this is your second online art project, and we are going to talk about a nature artist, and hopefully you can see some of the nature in the background, because we're going to need to all go outside today and gather up sticks and rocks and flower petals and anything that we would like to use as our art medium to assemble a nature art project. But first, let's talk a little bit about Andy Goldsworthy. So Andy Goldsworthy is a British artist environmentalist who produces site-specific outdoor installations using only the natural materials surrounding him, like rocks, sticks, leaves, and water. He was born in 1956 in the United Kingdom, and he is still alive working today in his 60s. He is divorced, I believe, and he does have 4 children. So basically, he also studied art at Bradford School of Art in the UK. What you really need to know about Andy Goldsworthy is that he did installations. And installations are what a lot of 21st century artists are doing, where they are actually creating art on a site that's meant to be temporary. So in Andy Goldsworthy's case, he actually will go out into the woods or the river, wherever it is that he wants his background to be, which is for him nature, and he will actually create his art on site. Andy Goldsworthy also takes photographs of his work. So what you're going to do today is you're going to create an art project just like Andy Goldsworthy, and you're going to take a picture of it and you're going to upload it and hopefully share and send that to me. If you're my students, you are going to be doing that on your Google Docs in our Google Classroom. If you are an Art Wandering art student, please email it to me, or you can share it in the comments below. Again, my email is artwanderingstudios@gmail.com, so make sure to share your work because I love seeing it. While you go ahead and think about your art project, you really can create anything that you would like. There are no limitations. This could be something abstract created with supplies, or it could actually be an object or an insect. I'm going to actually be doing a dragonfly. But what I do want you to think about is the principles of art. In particular are balance, emphasis, pattern, and contrast. So while you are creating this, I want you to incorporate all 4 of those things. So what is balance? Balance is creating a sense of stability in your artwork. It can be symmetrical, where things are the same on the left and the right, like in a butterfly and often found in a flower. It could be asymmetrical, where things are not balanced. So I might have a rock in the upper left-hand corner and not a rock in the lower right-hand corner. That would be asymmetrical. If it's radial, this is one of Andy Goldsworthy's favorite forms of balance. It is when you start in the center and you work your way out, and that is creating radial balance, kind of like your eye is an example of radial balance. I also want you to create emphasis in your nature art project today. Emphasis is really just creating a focal point. It's a place that demands the viewer's attention. So how are you going to do that? Well, if you have all green leaves and you had one red berry, that red berry would be emphasized because it's contrasting against all of the green leaves in the background. So just think of a way to make your eye go to one certain area on your work. Pattern is the repetition of using an element of art such as spirals, lines, or shapes. So you're going to be creating a pattern by repeating an element of art. In this case, it actually might be a leaf. So by repeating the leaf, that would be an example. So say you have leaves and pine cones, and your pattern could be leaf, leaf, pine cone, leaf, leaf, pine cone, leaf, leaf, pine cone. That would be an example of creating a pattern. Contrast is the difference in the elements of art, such as you could be creating negative and positive space, or complementary colors, which are colors opposite on the color wheel. The 3 main complementary colors would be orange and blue, violet and yellow, and red and green. So complementary colors have the highest contrast as far as colors go. That is a way that you could create contrast. You can also do that by varying the rough and the smooth texture or the thick versus thin lines. Like you could have a really thick stick and a really thin line that would be creating contrast too. So try to think about the principles of art, which is the principles of art are what artists use to bring their artwork up to a higher level. And the elements of art are what are found even in the most basic child artwork, but you really need to start using the elements of art into the principles of art to become a better artist. I am including a link on a really good YouTube video already created on the elements of art and another one on the principles of art. If you're a student, that is posted in your assignments under Google Classroom. If you are an art wandering studio artist, that will be posted in my video link on my art channel page. So hopefully you get a chance to watch those, but first make sure that you watch the Andy Goldsworthy video I posted. It is actually a video already done on YouTube with Andy Goldsworthy actually working live on one of his projects. So that would be the best way to learn more about Andy Goldsworthy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my coat on. It's a little chilly outside, but I'm gonna go ahead and go outside now so that I can show you how to do your nature art project. Okay, so as you can see, I am outside and I'm just gonna take a minute to take in spring for just a second. And what you're gonna notice is the colors that you are really trying to take in right now. And you're just gonna gather things that you happen to have in your yard. So what I was noticing was that I have all of these weed flowers coming up. So they've got a really pretty white cream flower at the top. And then I have all these little purple flowers that are actually weeds that are growing in my grass that I'll have to eventually do something about, but right now they're actually quite pretty. And it just made me think of butterflies. So for my Andy Goldsworthy project, I actually created this butterfly. So hopefully you can see it. And I use dandelions, pine cones, and a collection of weeds and weed flowers and sticks. So I'll just kind of zoom up on that so that you can see that. And that's really all you need to do, but yours doesn't have to look like an object. I created mine with symmetrical balance, and for my focal point, I used the bright yellow dandelions for my eyes because yellow and violet are complementary colors, so that's not only creating contrast with my complementary colors, but for my focal point, those yellow dandelion eyes really pop out because they're also a little bit larger than the tiny purple flower. But you can also think about the rocks in your yard. Andy Goldsworthy loved rocks too. So I actually kind of created this quick mini sculpture as well. So you can just be creative with what you do. Look at things that are just laying around on the ground, whether it's pine cones or sticks. You could even use water. So if you poured water on top, that could also be a part of your art project. So have fun with this. Do be cautious that if it is a breezy day, you're probably going to want to wait. Today's the perfect day. I don't know what it's going to be like when you're doing this.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.